Very good. If you have your seats, then I will sit down myself as tonight's storyteller. Hi, everyone. Ring ting tinglin' too. I have my hat on, and I want to. I have a nice, comfortable robe. You know, the long winter's nap and all. Well, hopefully you don't sleep through this. It should be a good adventure. I want to thank you all for coming by. MattyMorgs presents The Fourth Wall of Christmas, which is the overarching title for our two-shot DnD Time adventure. And so tonight is going to be broken up into two adventures, similar to what you would see on a Friday night over on DnD Time. You know, where the adventures are an hour and a half or so. And now the boys run 3. I'm running 2 tonight. And then we're going to have a downtime. You know, as our program will end around 1 a.m. Eastern. And when we come back tomorrow, we are going to have 2 more adventures that will wrap up whatever is in store for them here. And for all of you who are visiting from D&D Time, whether this is your first time to our community or if you're back, thank you. Have a seat and mix and mingle in this new old-fashioned way here with the other inhabitants of MattyMorgs as we all trickle in. You can see that the role-playing screen is quite festive. And I hope that this will help get you into the spirit of whatever it is you do or do not celebrate. Some of us have Christmas, some of us have Hanukkah. Some might even celebrate Festivus for the rest of us. You know, and there's nothing like an aluminum pole and feats of strength and the airing of grievances to really just reset the soul. And you know what? Even if none of that floats your boat, then we're still going to be here and have some good old-fashioned D&D Time fun. At least as best as I can hope to. I mean, look, between you and me, I'm going to do my darndest. But I am super nervous. Look, Pete and Jeremy. Oh, there we go. Pete and Jeremy over here. These boys. If you knew what I know about what they put into what they do, I hope you have a healthy appreciation. And after all, tonight, in part, is a Christmas miracle where they are going to have the DM's curse lifted from them, if only for 2 nights. For 2 nights a year, they will become mere players in the larger game of D&D. And in fact, why don't we go into? I currently have them. You can see them, but we need to really materialize them into the world. At least as we have our players, because it's not just Pete and Jeremy. Nay. We also have Farku and Cold Spark joining us, as we are going to have a party of 4 go on this adventure.
Matty,
everyone, yes, can you hear me?
Hello, Matty.
Yes, yellow.
Boop. Good evening, Matty.
And what a good evening it is. I don't know about y'all. I'm super comfy. This is such a soft robe, and I got a little jingly hat. I'm ready to go.
I got my
cat won't come. I was trying to get him.
And Matty, let me say, I love what you've done with the place. It's so festive in here.
Oh, why, thank you. You know, it took a little bit of time decorating, but you know, it's well worth it. We have a nice, lovely some garland in chat, some lights above. There's a data as well on screen, and who knows? I may very well. And by the way, for all of you who have the cat butt emote, data counts. Absolutely, data can prompt a cat butt spam. Well, what I want to do, you know, if people are here, they probably know me. And hey, Max, thank you very much for the follow. And by the way, Cold Spark, I had the background, like the notification was muted, but thank you very much for the re-up on the sub.
You're welcome, Matty.
It is mucho apreciado. And
On my own Twitch account.
Well, your amazing content is also mucho apreciado. So
I will do the best I can every time that I can. Oh, yep. And so here we go. We have a lot of folks in chat. Let's get this going now. Before we get into character, I would like you all give a little blurb about yourself, about either your interaction over at MattyMorgs or on DnD Time, or even just a quick little, how long have you been playing D&D, or what are some thoughts, hopes, and dreams, and whatnot. Do you broadcast, or do you have something that you would like to give a quick little shout out to? Because hey, I appreciate your time here, and I really would want to give you a platform to, I really want to give you a platform. Oh, hey. Well, wouldn't you know, oh, woe at me, Flump. The Trust of Flump, thank you for 13 months in a row. We've broken the year. We're now on the second set of 12, and ooh.
Yum yum.
The time passes so quickly.
I just tried to go do it too, and it turns out my password has been compromised, and I need to reset my account.
Oh no! Oh no!
Well, good time. Oh wait, bad timing. We still have
Yes.
D&D Time stuff.
Not for D&D Time, for my personal account. So we're good, Jeremy.
Why I make all of the passwords for D&D.
But do you make them, or do you have them made for you?
I make them. They're
Uh-oh.
He makes someone make them for him.
I've seen them. They are definitely not randomly generated.
So why don't we begin? Now, I have you all in a particular order on my screen, and so for convenience sake, why don't I abide by that? We will start over on the left-hand side with Farku. Farku, can you give a little blurb about yourself, and then follow it up with who is June?
Oh, hey. So, it's nice to meet you. I'm a regular player.
You are a regular over on D&D Time. I'm sorry, I was having some trouble with your microphone here.
Yeah, I'm a regular player.
Oh no!
I have some other people to wait.
No, it's fine.
Also, it's really hard to see out of this.
Hey, I appreciate the effort, though. I sincerely do. Who might we know you as over on D&D Time, if I may ask?
Usually I play Myth Tier, Legends Tier, Fox 6.
Very good.
I have over 16,000 hours, over 20. Shout out to my boy Switch, who's in GM. Good friend, good player. He also is helping me out playing League of Legends. Go check out his stream. He shouldn't be. Let's see. So I've been playing role-playing games for a long time, 2 years. D&D 5th edition, particularly. Sorry.
It's fine. IRL aggro is real. It happens.
Being combat from most of it. I lost my train of thought. Where was I?
You are a seasoned role player.
Why don't you use your towel to go? Why don't you have Fox bring out his towel so that you can catch it again?
Thank you for the Fox 6 towel costume, Farco. I appreciate that.
I wanted to go with that, but that would have been against Twitch's terms and service and violation.
I appreciate you conforming to TOS. Can you give us a blurb about June, the character that you're going to be playing? We'll do some in-character stuff, but what would be a broad, just a quick flyover of your character?
And yes, he's a Catholic monk. He's a fighter and all of it, although he's very compassionate to his friends and family. He grew up in this place that was formerly the ruins of a giant titan that fell, and it's the portion of his cloak called the hood, so he could on the mean streets of the hood while his parents are second generation immigrants.
Well then, I'll tell you what. We'll continue on. I think we have a good base. A half orc monk, second generation immigrant here, to the Slumbering Spine Mountains. Correct?
Yeah, sure.
The mountain range that was a fallen titan.
Yeah, he's grown up and became a mixed martial arts fighter to raise money.
MMA fighter.
And he's taken on the mantle of the dream monk, putting his enemies to sleep, although he has nothing to do. It's just a name. So we'll see. Also have this special yo-yo that he carries around.
Oh, I love it. I love it. All right. Well, I look forward to seeing creative ways for that yo-yo to be used. And we'll continue on then. One more webcam over. Let's go to Pete. Pete, who are you? What do you do? And give us a quick flyover of who you're playing tonight.
Hi, I'm Pete. I'm Pete of Pete and Jeremy's DnD Time, which, Matty, I'm very excited to play in the lands of DnD Time, as I think it's happened but once before, Jeremy, if I'm not mistaken, that we've played in the world that we've put together with everyone all this time.
I think once.
Yeah, one other time.
No, twice. I've played one other time.
Oh, you played in one of my adventures, yeah.
No, I've totally played in one of mine too. So maybe 2 times.
Okay. Yes. Well, the point is, not many times. So we run this game where we build a really ridiculous and silly world. I can't wait to see what you've done with the place. You've already done such a nice job cleaning up the stream, and seeing what you've brought for the festivities in D&D Time is going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm one of the community leaders alongside Jeremy over there, and for my character tonight, I'm playing a gnome named Kringle, which at first I was thinking we'd all be making holiday-themed characters, and then when I realized that wasn't the case, I dialed that back a bit. So I'm playing Kringle, a gnomish toy maker, but aside from the fact that he's very much based on the elves of the quintessential Santa mythos, he's a pretty down-to-earth. He's very lacking in self-confidence, I would say, as someone who Kringle is. And he makes toys and gives them away for free, and just kind of roams the land handing out goods to anyone who would appreciate them.
Well, that sounds, it certainly sounds seasonal, and hopefully, hopefully he can find himself, a backbone. He can get some spine. He is one of Bartholomew's adventures, after all, and has made it all the way to level 8. For all of you out there, these are level 8 characters that you're going to see going on an adventure.
Of course, and as a gnome in the lens of D&D Time, he is native to the region of Sokotoa, but he perhaps isn't much as... He's into the more crafts than, say, the higher tech of the gnomes of the region.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because what I'd like to do for people who might not be familiar, we actually have a professionally done map of the lands of D&D Time, and what I'd like to do is to show off a little bit about where your characters might be before the adventure begins. Is June in the mountains, or where would June be? I'm gonna put a marker about where you are at, or if you want to move your marker.
Right. Somewhere near the coast of France, where the ocean is like. Actually, where would be because you know what close to be by the so maybe that's it right here. Maybe like the hood fell off and it came at his feet as a photo.
Okay. All right, so you're currently there, maybe with family. Now we have Kringle. Kringle, where are you?
Kringle is right in Sokotoa, which is northwest of Central City on this map. I really love the layout of this map. By the way, is this a MattyMorgs original?
No, this is not a MattyMorgs.
Jeremy.
Oh wait, I was gonna say this is like. It makes sense that it would be Jeremy. I was like, this is the most like accurate to where I thought of things were map that I've ever seen.
I'm aware.
Yeah, it's not a MattyMorgs original. It's a Jeremy Quick and Dirty. Sounds like a cocktail, actually.
It kind of does, doesn't it?
There could definitely be something called a quick and dirty. I would definitely not be surprised in the slightest.
Well, you probably shoot it.
All right. So, anything else from you, Kringle, in your quick flyby before we, this is like an out of character to get into character prompt as we're going down the line, and then we'll draw your characters into the story and go from there.
Like I said, he's a little bit nervous. He's a nice guy, and he also stole. I mean, he stole from his home craftsman guild and was exiled, which was my flaw that I rolled. Matty, I want you to know that this was a very largely, aside from the core theme of Toymaker, which I knew going in, this was a largely random character. A lot of things were random.
Good. Yeah. Now we're getting in the spirit. Ooh, pardon me. Who knew soda made you burp? That's dumb. All right. Next up, then we have Cold Spark. Cold Spark, what can you give a little bio about yourself as a player, and then give us a quick little bit of background info on your character?
So, I've become somewhat of a regular over at DnD Time. I'd either be known as Throom or Otis.
Give you some credit, Cold Spark.
There are people who've been here, who've been around for so much longer than I have, so...
Veteran and regular are different things. You've earned the regular, the badge.
Agreed.
The gold star, or it's a silver star of regular, as Bartholomew prefers silver.
And as Otis, I am one of the 4 SAS Masters of D&D Time. Which came out of the lead into a boss battle not all that long ago. And we've been kind of playing into it ever since. I've been playing for about a year on a somewhat regular basis, but I've sort of dabbled a little bit before then. And tonight I'm playing Ikwam, who is a Tabaxi. He used to be a soldier, but got kicked out after sleeping through one too many targets walking by.
Uh-oh. Well,
he's kind of in the small kingdoms exploring and trying to prove that, no, you should not have kicked me out.
It's certainly a place where, if you're looking for a lot of constant adventure, maybe even a bunch of little things to try and, grind your reputation up a little, not in the bad way to like make sausage, but I'm talking, you could probably do that too. But yeah, there's no small amount of strife taking place in the small kingdoms, probably because they're just that. There's constant friction, a lot of things going on, a lot of monsters and things. So you can be busy, and that's probably where you've earned a lot of your levels. Because remember, Ikwam, if you wanted that second chance, Bartholomew is a good second chance club to become his adventure and an adventure of his. And you've done so consistently now to reach level 8. And you know what? In the lands of D&D Time, level 8 is pretty venerable. That's, you've been putting in some work on behalf of Bartholomew. Now, I want you to level with me. Have you died on any of your adventures that Bartholomew sent you on?
No, I tend to hide a little too well to get killed.
All right. Well, I presume then that this is something your companions here would know about if they've traveled with you on a few quests before. Yes.
Yes. I tend to like to hide and... Oh, wait. Where did that arrow come from?
Very good. All right, then. And lastly, and leastly, we have Woo Woo. I mean, Jeremy. Jeremy is not leastly. Woo Woo arguably is, but in all the right ways.
Oh no.
But Jeremy, can you give a little bio about yourself and then talk about Woo Woo and what's going on?
Yeah. So, hey everybody, I'm Jeremy, the other person in Pete and Jeremy's D&D Time, the one who's not Pete. I have been playing Dungeons and Dragons for quite a long time. My first game was, I think, the very tail end of 3.5. I hear the tail end of 3.5. Let me rephrase. It was right before the release of 4th edition. So I played a lot of 4E, and I absolutely loved it. And I think that maybe more people should play 4E because it's a very fun combat game if you're into the combat side of it. But yeah, I love 5th edition D&D. I've been running Pete and Jeremy's D&D Time with Pete for, oh my god, 3 years. It'll be 3
Long time.
I think, or May.
Yeah, you guys are big brothers to me here.
Strange to think.
And yeah, I love Dungeons and Dragons. That's really about it. This is like one of the big things I do, besides failing to 3D print and that kind of stuff.
collecting minis on MattyMorgs' channel.
I got a dragon to print, and it came out real good.
Hey,
Yeah,
I like the ridges in the wings too. That's
I know, right?
very
It looks
nice.
Very good in person that the camera cannot, especially the tiny camera, cannot really reflect. But yeah, I'm gonna be playing Woo Woo this evening. And Woo Woo is a level 8 kobold druid. Woo Woo has no arms, but that has not stopped him from being an effective adventurer and a more effective druid. He's very powerful and mighty. At least that's how he kind of sees himself. And he's from Dinosaur Island, which you can see I've drawn onto the map.
I was wondering what that was. So yes, Dinosaur Island might not appear on a lot of common maps in the lands of D&D Time, but there it is.
No. It's incredibly rare. In fact, it's weird. There's never been an adventure on Dinosaur Island in D&D Time.
And that trend will continue tonight.
Well played.
Ivalon in chat is asking, a map in D&D Time, is this canon? I think that this is the most canon map that you will probably see.
Allow me to, I think this really hits the nail on the head. I was describing this to Maddie earlier. The lands of D&D Time is an ephemeral, kind of bizarre place that is intentionally hard to fully comprehend. But if you were to try, this is what you would come out to something like this. By design, it's
It's
hard
an
to...
enigma. Really, any
Exactly.
place could be anywhere. And there's a lot of it's like the ocean. It's like undiscovered. 90% of it is still like nobody knows where anything is.
Oh, absolutely true. There are whole massive swaths of the land of D&D Time that you're not even seeing on this map.
Yeah, like what's in this area that I'm drawing in yellow? I don't know. What's in the rest of the Baradak Swamp? I don't know.
And some of these lines, the distances aren't necessarily accurate, like between the small kingdoms and the section where...
the distances are completely accurate.
Oh, never mind. This is to scale. I'm sorry.
This is to scale, Pete.
My bad.
Central
Big
City
dinosaur.
to
Is
East
Dinosaur
Town.
Island just
It's 15 feet.
12.5 feet.
Beautiful.
Central City is actually it's actually a model of a city.
When they say it's only a stone's throw away, they really mean it.
I mean, some of the adventurers could probably lie down with their feet in Central City and their heads in East Town.
I guess what I'm getting at...
People are really small in the lands of D&D Time.
I guess what I'm getting at is that the lands of D&D Time are non-Euclidean.
That's true.
Given-
In space, it is a convex.
I was just gonna say, given how you've described it in your like epic, your legendary tier adventures, it is. Well, it's a special place, and you know what? For any of you out there watching, if you have not had the opportunity to play with Pete and Jeremy as your DM in D&D Time, or alongside players like Farku or Coldspark. And hey, I sometimes indulge over in D&D Time myself. It is a guilty pleasure. Where can people find your, like, how do they play with you?
Well, Pete, do you want to take this one, or should
Jeremy, please tell the
Okay,
tell the good
I
people
will
where
take
we
this.
are.
Well, if you want to play in Pete and Jeremy's D&D Time, that's too bad. We're done for the year. But
true.
at the beginning of next year, in January, we're going to be kicking it back off with a lot of fun adventures. We do 3 one-shot adventures featuring our community. That's you guys in the chat. Every Friday, it's always a ton of fun. Pete and I miss I think it's 4 Fridays out of the year total, and most of them are on this holiday, this winter holiday. It's a ton of fun. Come play some D&D with us. You can check us out on dndtime.stream. It's our website. It's got everything you need to know there, and it looks better than it did before, but.
And that's the letter N
Hey,
for D&D Time. It's the letter D, letter N,
Don't sell
letter D.
yourself. Don't sell yourself short, Jeremy. And apparently, I cannot talk tonight.
It is a passable website right now.
It is extremely decent. I agree.
That is exactly. So it's interesting. You actually need the HTTPS dndtime.stream, otherwise it doesn't work.
Whoops.
If you click that link, it won't work. Here you go. Do that one.
It works for me.
There we
without
go.
HTTP, Jeremy.
Well, Google hates me. I don't know.
Oh well. All right. Well then, with our quick little player introductions and our character overviews, why don't we get the tale started? And
Ready.
oh yeah, I love it. You're getting into character by withdrawing your arms.
Let me just take my keyboard down here. So I can type it.
Yeah, now you just look like a horror from Silent Hill. All right, so
No, this is gonna be awful. I'm not doing this.
we're going to zoom in on. Let's see. We have June. June, we're going to begin the summons with you. What are you doing in the moment? We'll say that it is evening time, and the sun is just getting ready to set. I will say that things have been getting rather cold, which isn't unseasonable for any particular place. Though, maybe it's just it's a year, kind of like what we might consider in our real world to be like an El Nino or El Nina kind of a thing, or La Nina thing. But there is an unseasonable chill. But you're in the mountains. What are you doing when the call to adventure comes?
Well, usually I'd be wearing some sort of tie, get up, some pants, and less clothing. But since considering the seasons before, I have my large cloak on and some headwear. I guess while I am busy this day, probably doing some training. I'm just doing a few workouts. What's happening? Is it football news?
I can tell you as well, especially being from the Slumbering Spine, and you are a Way of Dreams monk, which is actually a custom subclass that was built for D&D Time. So I mean, we're in the meta here. Before your adventure begins, I will. I don't know how observant is June to what goes on in his community. He seems to like his friends and family enough.
Actually, I come from a long line of Way of Dream monks, but actually I know nothing about the Way of Dreams, as I was born and raised in the city, and I've only taken on the moniker as a sort of MMA advertising gimmick.
Oh, okay, all right. So you're a facade on a long tradition. So you may not know a lot about the tradition, but at least you know enough to put on the show, right?
Yeah, and I do come from a yes, I do pay attention quite a lot bit to the community often like, go out and like help more people if I can with like local and things like that.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's have our very first dice roll of this session be yours. Give me a perception roll before your call to adventure begins to find out if you might have seen or heard some things going on around town as you've been practicing, doing errands, and otherwise, existing where you live.
So that percent. Just let's go.
Oh, all right.
So, what might I see?
So, it is. You know what? You've been training. You've been so focused on your training. The world continues around you here. It is a busy time. In their own way, perhaps. Perhaps the people of the Slumbering Spine are getting ready to celebrate the solstice, which is almost nigh. There's a lot of activity, people hustling and bustling. There's certainly monks of your order, as well as some druids that are on the Circle of Dreams. You've had some druids that have been passing through town as well. So that's been interesting, but hey, it's a holiday for travel, getting together, and especially if you're one who follows your dreams, this is kind of a dreamy time of year. And so, June, you are going to get a word in your ear, non-directional, magical, and it is from a very familiar voice, which I will attempt to recreate as best I can. Here, in the wings of Pete and Jeremy, who've had plenty of practice, being the old wizard Bartholomew. So I'll do my best. June. June, I have some need of your services. Your particular skill talents are remarkable, and they're also the next on my list. I would really appreciate some of your time. I can't make it worth your while. Yes.
Yo, man, that's all right. I appreciate you. Come on, man. What do you need?
Well,
Anything for you, homie?
I appreciate your appreciation. I will give you more details if you could come to the shop. Things are a little strange here. Aren't they always? A stranger, I should say. I am going to be giving you a signal. When you feel whatever you're going to feel, I just need you to accept it, okay?
That sounds a little weird, but sure. What's up?
Yes, well, we wouldn't have it any other way. The second it stops being weird, I think you might actually grow suspicious. And, the voice dissipates. June, I would like you to roll an insight now. Hey, all right. As you're waiting for whatever this signal is that you would feel, Bartholomew, this is a standard issue request from Bartholomew. Things are always weird, though something about his voice wasn't. He wasn't in distress, but he didn't seem like he was all there. There's maybe not a suspicion, but maybe more of a concern that something's going on, that Bartholomew's probably gotten into something, and his communications were a little garbled because of that. And as well, when the sending to you stops, or I guess it's an extended sending, that was way more than 25 words. Especially because I don't know if Bartholomew can game the I don't know if those count as words in the sending. But your ears kind of you don't have frostbite, but certainly you just got a chill and your ears kind of redden up as if a very cold wind blew against them. But you do feel beyond that, you do feel a tug to the north, and you know that Bartholomew's shop lies to the north of where you're at. Are you accepting the tug?
Yeah.
All right. And so you close your eyes, you let the magic fill you, and you disappear from where you're at. We are now going to go even further north than Bartholomew's shop and slightly more to the west, over to Sokotoa, which just recently had a bit of a solstice uprising going on. There was a giant machine that was kind of stomping through town, and it certainly got a lot of people excited. But anyway, Kringle, what are you doing before your call of adventure?
So canonically, we would actually be myth-tier heroes, correct?
Yes.
I think Kringle, in his time kind of rising through the ranks here in the lands, has kind of been definitely avoiding the public eye, has been asking not to take title, has been like not really showing up for the award ceremonies and things like that. And is currently, though, he certainly took the keep. And his keep is a very small workshop on the outskirts of the area in which he, when he's not adventuring, is holed up now with the resources afforded to him by the adventuring troop, just practicing his craft. I think in this exact moment, his kind of calloused and busy hands are working over what appears to be a small rocking horse. He's kind of doing some fine kind of lathing along the back, smoothing it out and getting ready to kind of carve what would be the saddle part of it into it.
All right, very good. So you are inside your workshop, which was awarded to you for your efforts in the lands of DnD Time, and a familiar voice floats into your ears from no particular direction, though you know who it's from. No, yes, Kringle, is it? This is the correct Kringle, yes? Whippersnapper, yes?
Yes, Bartholomew, it is Whippersnap. One snap, no
No, I'm very sorry. That's probably not the last time I'll mess that up, but I don't do it on purpose. That's just one of those things.
It's okay. What is it?
Well, you see, I have a need for you. Things have gotten a little interesting here at the workshop, and especially as we're facing solstice. I understand that you're a toy maker. This could be a busy time of year, but honestly, there's a lot of other people who are even busier in their own ways, or at least have petitioned for vacation, and they got the forms in on time. Tried to manipulate time to fix that, but they still turned in their request too early. Anyway, I'm sorry. Yes.
So my request for vacation during this time didn't go through?
Oh, yes, it was received. It's just that I won't be receiving it for about another 26 hours and 39 minutes.
I guess that is fair. Okay, well, what do you need me to do?
Well, don't worry. I'll make sure that you're compensated, as always. You might need to remind me, but I'll make sure that it's done. I'm going to need your skills, your knowledge, to help in a situation, aren't they always? Anyway, I'm sorry. I have to contact the others, but I needed to find out if you were at least open for the job. Sounds like you are. And you're going to feel a bit of a tug. And when that happens, I just need you to, I don't know, just do something that is an acknowledgement.
If I have to.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Your cooperation is noted. Very good. And the line with a...
Go ahead.
The voice stops, and Kringle, your ears, your little gnomey ears, just kind of get a, I don't know, just what a cold rush. Something really weird. There's even like it's a little hint of frost on your earlobe, on like the tip of your pointy. Well, if you have pointy gnome ears, I don't want to make a presumption.
Kringle kind of puts down his woodworking tools, and begins kind of like breathes a heavy sigh, and now feeling this kind of cold on his ears, goes over to the window and goes to make sure that it's shut and check to see that maybe it's snowing. Is it windy?
Yeah, in Central City, they had quite a blizzard just about last week. But here in this area, it's been cold and it's been expected, but it's been colder and windier, and hopefully it's something that'll pass. But checking your windows and such certainly wouldn't hurt, because it's only gotten colder. It hasn't gone through a warm, a warm, cold on a gentle slope down further into winter. It's just been a continual like boo.
Kringle just kind of like bundles himself up and steels himself for whatever is about to happen.
Okay, you feel a pull to the southeast. Just something inside you just feels drawn in that direction.
I turn my head to look that way.
And when you do, just and you are gone. You disappear from your workshop. Now we're going to go to the small kingdoms, where we have Iquam.
Iquam.
Iquam, what are you doing before your call to adventure here?
Well, you said it was getting towards sundown?
Yes.
That's about this time of year. That sounds like that's about our fourth nap.
Oh, very good.
And so I'm probably just settling in. Looking over a newspaper which has some very strange things about trees putting hats on liches in it. I'm not exactly certain. Seems a little bit suspicious.
Well, the folk of the small kingdoms they're ever in want of, something to talk about.
And I'm just kind of settling down and finding a nice warm nook somewhere to have myself a bit of a nap.
All right, then this nap is very much going to be interrupted. Iquam is yes, not Iquam. I'm sorry, I'm still trying to get used to this.
What?
Directionless voice. Your tabaxi ears are trying to like whoop whoop whoop, trying to like scoop in, but they're not picking up the direction. However, it is Bartholomew that is talking to you.
Hello. What is it? I was just dozing off.
Yes, well, I would prefer that you do not do that and instead come right to the workshop. I have something that I need you to do for me, and of course, in return, I'll make sure that you are compensated in both money, and I know that you've been trying to build a reputation, and well, I as best as I can, as influential as I am here in these lands of D&D time, I want to, well, promote you, in a sense.
Well, all right. I'll try to get there.
You don't have to try too hard. Take a stretch if you need. You're going to feel something, and when you do, I just need you to accept it.
Oh, all right. Give me a moment.
Oh,
just kind of. You just kind of. All right. I think I'm ready.
Iquam, I'd like you to make a perception check, please.
Oof.
All right. Even with the 10, you swore it was weird. Maybe like background noise on ascending, but still background noise. Did you hear a dog bark?
Dogs happen.
That's a good tabaxi saying. All right. And as you stretch, your tail is gonna kind of unconsciously go to the go more to the east than the north, but the northeast all the same. And you get a little tingle up your tail.
oh, maybe that's it. And just kind of settle and turn, sort of look over in that direction.
And before you dematerialize, you feel also that the little hairs on your tabaxi ears, they kind of like give a crunch because they've been frosted, and some of them are kind of like frosted together. And when you turn, it sort of it breaks the frost out.
Ooh, maybe that wasn't quite warm enough.
And you disappear. Meanwhile, boop 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 boop. Hi, Woo Woo. What you doing?
Well, I think the scene kind of pans in. There's just a large kind of, it's in the jungle, right? Because on Dinosaur Island, there's lots of jungle. And there's all the big jungle trees around, and there's what looks like an ancient, like, Yuan Ti temple or something, just in front. But it is completely ablaze, and standing at the base of it, there is this small, no-armed kobold, and he's got his tail kind of like curled around in front of himself, and the tail is curled around a potato, which it's just kind of tossing up into the air as this kobold stares into the flames and speaks to the potato. Well, Clyde, I guess they weren't there. Don't worry. I'll find them. I'll find them and I'll get them for what they did to you, buddy. He looks down at the potato. I'll get them if I go to burn every one of these temples.
And you know, the great fires coming from that have actually helped to keep Dinosaur Island warm, as out here in the ocean, it has been very unseasonably cold. There's been a lot of icebergs floating by, and if not for I guess the geothermal ventilation that such a primordial volcanic island, fire temple strewn place would have. So we're probably approaching, like maybe like 50 degrees. I mean, so this is like snow emergency in Florida stuff right now. It's 50 degrees. You got to break out your heavy coat. But so it's still temperate enough, though it has raised a lot of eyebrows or their approximations amongst the denizens of Dinosaur Island. And as you're there talking to Clyde the Potato, vowing revenge, woo woo.
Oh, hey Bartholomew, how's it going?
No, yes. Well, I have need of you once more, woo woo. You have a particular set of talents, and perhaps even talents that I need.
Yeah, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want from me?
I would like you to, and it goes out for a moment. Yes, I need you to come to the workshop, please.
Oh, why will you turn Clyde back from a potato now?
Keep
telling me soon.
Yes, well, I'm a little indisposed to do that. You may bring the potato with you, and you can leave it on the counter, and we will...
I'm gonna be keeping Clyde with me. Are you kidding me? I don't trust you. I don't trust you as far as I can throw you, and I can't throw you because I don't have any arms.
That is extremely true, woo-woo.
No, just get on with it. It's getting cold here. I want to go somewhere warm.
Yes, well, it is regarding that. I promise you that the temperature inside the shop is acceptable.
All right. And Woo kind of looks down at the potato, which has a little, like, face drawn on it in Sharpie. Oh, my God, we're going to get you fixed someday, buddy. Don't you worry.
You're going to feel a pull or some other stimuli, and I just need you to go with the flow.
All right.
And so you're waiting, and you get a where you would have arms, you're getting like a little phantom tingle that is like as if you're holding your arm out in a southwesterly direction.
Well, better get going. I'm gonna have to swim across the whole ocean to get over there.
And as you resolve to do that with your potato friend, you end up sort of curling up into into nothingness. Although, as you do, Woo Woo, do you have... What do you have for ears? Do you have, like, just the external eardrums? Or do you actually have little, like, pointy...
I think, let me look at that picture, because I don't know. Oh no. I should probably, yeah, no, I guess I have little holes. I think Woo has little tiny, like, eardrums, but they're, like, under those horn.
Oh, yeah.
So it almost looks like.
Sure. Okay. Your ear holes sort of frost over a little bit. Like there's a little like a chill going through you.
Oh, I don't like that.
And as you also resolve to not like that, in addition to swimming over the ocean, you disappear. And your potato goes with you too.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
I'd have to kill him.
And the four of you materialize simultaneously inside of Bartholomew's shop.
Oh,
And
wow.
Oh, hey, how's it doing? It's pretty cool here.
Now, Bartholomew's shop is mostly the same as you recognize it. There's this and that's here and there. Candles burning, they always seem to be burning, as in the exact same candle in the exact same position. There are boxes and gems and a counter and all sorts of things. And in particular, to get ready for Solstice, it would seem that Bartholomew, or probably Roger, had put up some decorations above the counter, including some garland with lights that they're twinkling, some nice red bows. There's a wreath with some red berries and a gold ribbon, and there's a bugle hanging in the middle. And the other, I guess, major noticeable aspect of the store is that Roger is a cat.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Instead of a bell on a collar, it is a yellow star, and this cat is just sort of staring up at the little sparkly bits in the evening time, in the moonlight coming in. However, he does have his signature green robe with white stars and a conical hat.
Oh, it's classic Roger being a kid.
Maddie, can I give you inspiration for the scroll with moon-based plans written on it? Because that's excellent.
I
Wait, no one's decided to read that one yet. What?
We usually narrate right over that big scroll, so no one knows it's here, but you've laid it bare for all to see.
There are all kinds of things to see in the workshop, so your eyes are welcome to glance over what is here. But there behind the counter is Bartholomew, kind of. In a large silver mirror that has been set up behind the counter, you see Bartholomew standing there. And the mirror kind of looks frosty around the edges, but that is still Bartholomew.
Oh, hey, Bartholomew, I like the look. It's very trimming.
What's going on, Bartholomew, with you and Roger?
Yes, well, and you hear, now that you've materialized and you're starting to look around, you've addressed him and he's talking. You just hear, hey, but it sounds like barks. Hey, who's that? Hey, who's that? Hey, is that cat out there? Hey, will you please? Yes, well, Kringle, you see, there's, I don't know. I might be able to explain it to you. Would you please roll an Arcana? As he's trying to fumble through some words.
As a wizard, I still don't have proficiency in this.
That's fine. However, in 11, it sounds something along the lines of it sounds like there's some sort of like a crossroads that Bartholomew's shop sits atop, and somehow it involves dogs.
Okay.
Something about some sort of like a ley line or I don't know, some weird like, you know, arcano babble.
Understood. There's some strange magic and dogs going on in Bartholomew's region.
Well, yes, that is both, well, it's not the long of it, but it's certainly the short of it. And also, as he says the short of it, he looks, even though he's in the mirror, he looks over towards Roger, who's now sort of on his back legs and just sort of bapping at the little motes of dust or whatever is coming in on the moonlight.
God, he's way better this time. He hasn't said a damn word. I love it. Oh my God, his voice is so annoying. I hate it so much. Oh, anyway.
Yes.
Tell me, what do you want? What do we gotta do? Break the mirror and get you out?
No. The mirror. I am in full operation of the mirror. It is as it needs to be right now. However, well, I'm going to be a little occupied trying to resolve things with the dogs. Ever since Roger, he went to go fetch a potion and he fell and effectively he turned himself into a cat. Some arcane thises and that's, and it has caused these sentient dogs to just start going nuts.
What's so wrong about being a cat?
Well, there's nothing wrong with being a cat. It's distracting. However, when you are being a cat in front of, in a society of dogs that just seemingly sense your existence and can't stop talking about it.
Yeah, of course, Park. I mean, Equam. You gotta know, I've been a cat before. You remember that adventure where we did that thing and then I was a cat? Yeah,
I don't know what's so special about being a cat.
Remember? Was it very good at anything when I was a cat?
I remembered that one. Yeah.
Thank you, Kringle. Do you remember me doing literally anything as a cat?
I remember that you at one point purred.
It's true. It's true. And then I knocked the thing off the table. I broke it.
But we did not get paid. We did not get paid on that one though.
Yeah, I guess that's the point. He's useless. Absolutely useless.
Hard to do spell casting components.
I wanna walk over and kick him.
Well, that seems mean-spirited.
That's not necessary in the slightest, boo-boo.
I'm not gonna kick him. Hey, Roger, I'm more powerful than you right now because you're a cat and I'm not.
Roger senses how displeased you are with him and is immediately attracted to you and rubs on your leg.
Now I could use my one curse for tonight then, but you almost got me, Roger.
And he looks up at you and just goes, meow, in that kind of nasally Roger voice.
That was even worse than his normal voice. I'll be right back and you get my cat out of the closet.
Well, this is a fourth wall breaking adventure, so that's perfectly fine.
Equalum just kind of goes over and scratches Roger behind the ears. Oh, don't worry. This shouldn't last too long.
And I go over to the mirror where Bartholomew's at. So, how can we turn him back?
Well, I'm not so much worried about restoring Roger, as you're actually doing something else. I'm sure Roger will...
Right.
Roger will figure it out on his own in time, and if I have to, I suppose that I'll do something and just dock his pay. But one thing at a time, I What's that?
This is some weird canon we're establishing. I didn't know you paid him.
Well, pay is a very strong word. I think I'm legally required to say that I do, and so I will.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Woo-woo, you are as observant as ever. A skill which will come in handy. Now, ignoring Cat Roger for the moment, though those eyes are extremely Aren't they adorable? Anyway. No, what I had asked you to come and do is I was to meet some guests that I had Zewxip go and fetch for me on a special errand aboard her ship. And, well, I'm in another place. And you just hear, oh, hey. Hey, who's that? Who are you talking? Hey. Will you please? I'm sorry. Anyway, I had sent Zewxip to go and fetch two people for me. In this past solstice kerfluffle, you may have heard that evil lich Lemek was prowling about, and he had mentioned a place called Earth. I don't suspect that you'd know of it, and that's fine. It's probably best that you don't. I wouldn't recommend it. And, well, there are... Yes.
Like just the ground.
Well, yes and no. But more no.
Okay.
You know how where you live is called Sokotoa?
Yes.
This is a place called Earth.
It's a place named after dirt.
Well, I mean, let's not get picky. We're all very well aware that the body of water laying off the east coast is simply called ocean.
I can't.
Oh, you're thinking.
I
You're
can't
thinking of
argue
like.
with you about
You're
that.
thinking of like Oworth, that place where Greyhawk is, right? It's kind of like that. Isn't it weird?
Woo-woo. I thought we had a discussion.
Sorry.
Thank you. No, this is Earth. But you're not going there. I wouldn't subject you to such a place. No, I had outfitted Zewxip the ability to go and get two very important people. A woman and her child are going to be coming here so that I can sit down and talk with them about some recent events. You all may have felt that it has been a little chilly outside more than usual, and that has me somewhat concerned. I did a little research into this place that Lemek had talked about, and I think I had found a suitable answer to the cold chill.
Okay.
But...
We just gotta go. We just gotta go say hi to Zewxip.
Yeah, well, yes, you're going to have to go, and I am not going to be able to... I'm not going to be able to teleport her or the guests, or I might have enough left to send you out to Buckler Bay, which is where she was supposed to be. Magics that send people, or even words over great distances, have been freezing closed. You've probably felt that on your ears or your personage.
Hey, yeah. Why was it so cool over here?
Yes, well, I can't say exactly, other than it is clearly something magical and not good.
Man, I hate having to deal with adventurers at a lower level than me. I guess we can go talk to Zewxip, I guess.
Fair. So...
Wait,
Oh, yeah?
do we know which of the Zewxips this is? I've heard many around.
Yes, this is the one that goes by the title, I Am. You may know her, perhaps as, like, Zewxip. You could make something up like Zewxip Prime.
Of course, these Zewxip.
No, I think Zewxip they are.
Well, there are plenty. You might even meet a couple more aboard the ship. Just find the right one. I trust in you. And now, if you don't mind, I need to go... it's...
What?
Whatever it is also seemingly stirring up the dogs here, too. Anyway, I will leave you to it. Now, before you go, because I might not be able to talk through this mirror much longer, there are some crystals that you can grab off the desk. Each of you may take one. It's in case of emergency.
What do they do?
Yes.
Okay. What's
Okay.
happening?
They are crystals for
What is
use in an
what?
emergency.
Oh, hey, June, you woke up.
Yeah.
Sleep there for a minute.
And
Mm,
you
Likely
see...
Likely
Oh, yeah,
Tuesday
June.
with the monk.
June was kind of like shivering in the corner after the teleportation.
It happens all the time. It's part of being a dream monk, dude.
No, I get that. I totally get that.
Yeah, I like saw into the future. You're gonna be just fine.
You saw into the future? What great insight did you have about our goals today?
Yeah, cause I just felt it was like so cold. Then I fell asleep.
Why? It's so true. It's real cold.
It is very cold, I suppose. Oh, okay. So, can you send us on our way?
Well, actually, Kringle, can you do me a favor before we go? We gotta get those crystals you left out for us. Would you mind picking mine up for me? Because I don't have any arms.
Do you want me to...
Bartholomew?
You see that Bartholomew, the mirror, has started. It had like an icy rim, and it's really quickly now frosting over. And as you're saying, Bartholomew's like, yes, the crystals. Wait, was it the red or the blue? And he leaves you on that question, as you do see that there is a pile of red crystals and a pile of blue crystals. The blue crystals are in the back.
All right, where the hell's the bag?
However, the mirror, the mirror has completely frosted over and is even giving off sort of a fog. And for this, June, I would, I mean, you know it's cold, but even prior to this, as you were in a meditative state, we'll say prior, I'd like you to make an insight check again.
All right, cuz got you. It ain't no thing but you do.
Nice, 15. June, you're getting a dream vibe from this interaction with Bartholomew. Not that you are in the dream, but Bartholomew has sort of a dreamy quality to his communication, and is perhaps somehow caught up in something that is dream related.
Hey, I'm totally getting like some sick dream vibes from Bartholomew.
Those could be the... They could be the talking dogs on the Dreamlay line here at Bartholomew's shop that he's stuck with.
Well, they're talking dogs. You should hang out with them. They sound pretty chill, dog.
I've only heard of them. I don't know if they're mean.
Yo, dog.
Dogs happen.
Anyway, we should probably get going.
So we grab these. There's 4 crystals.
Well, I mean, there's a basket of crystals. He said that you can each take one. However, he wasn't sure at the very end if it was the red ones or the blue ones you should have, and so you need to make a choice.
Why don't we take both?
Yeah.
What color do you want? I'll get yours for you.
I want the blue one. Are you kidding me? You keep that one in the back. That's gonna be the good shit. Oh, there it is. There's my square.
Clyde frowns as is slightly disappointed.
What a waste. You see,
I thought it was still pretty good.
Kringle, is there a I'm looking for just like a mug or a cup or a container. Just a small container.
Sure. There is a mug that is on the floor. If you were to dip, not too difficult for you here. If you're to dip underneath the way back, just in this cabinet, there is a mug that has kind of a little crack going down its side. And while there's no sign of hot cocoa in it, it does smell as if it was filled with hot cocoa.
Does this mug look magical?
It is slightly warm to the touch, yes.
Okay.
Even above the ambient temperature in here.
Weirdly, Kringle looks at that and goes, "Can't take that. I need a mundane mug," and tries to find a mug that doesn't have any enchantment on it, or a cup.
You could not find something like that in here, Kringle.
I know I'm asking a tall order for Bartholomew's chef.
Well, fortunately, I mean, Roger seemed to show some semblance of, at least, inference. Now, I know you're not a forest gnome, you're a rock gnome, so you can't speak to small, cute creatures. Otherwise, this would have been very convenient. However, you might be able to get the assistant to let you in.
Yeah, I'll go over and... Roger, do
Meow?
you have a mug? Could you show me where there's a cup or a mug or a small box or a small chest or something that I could put a crystal in?
Meow, 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 meow. And hops off the barrel after bapping at a couple other little motes of dust floating around. And he goes underneath the counter, then behind it, starts rummaging around, and there is a meow. Kind of pause towards a green ceramic mug. It's dark green, and it just has the word "someday" in white on it, and the A is a star.
Oh. I take this mug, and you watch as very quickly from his bag, moving with incredible nimble and deft hands, he just begins like taking stuff out of pockets and starts kind of like fastening little things to the mug, and you hear him kind of like mumbling a couple words over it as he does. And as he finish, you see there are now tiny toy arms and legs and little googly eyes on the mug, and he animates the mug into a tiny servant. Tosses the crystal in it and goes, "All right, little guy, follow Woo Woo. Do whatever Woo Woo says, unless it would cause you harm."
Oh, hey, what are you doing with these crystals, man?
And Woo Woo, you have a tiny servant at your command.
Hey, dude, how's it going?
Clink.
All right. Okay, it's one of those days.
It cannot speak, unfortunately.
Roger the cat is now on the counter and is looking at the rest of you. Meow.
All right, what do you want?
Cool, I'm just
and pick him up.
All right. As you pet and pick him up, by the way, his sugar loaf hat seems to be magically like affixed to his head. Despite him polymorphing, his robe and his hat seem to have pretty well stayed the same. Meow.
I'm gonna point him at the 2 boxes of crystals.
That's a good idea.
Like a detector sort of.
Oh.
Meow once for yes and twice for no.
Roger looks back and forth between the two, and points to the blue crystals.
That's probably the right one.
I'll trust him, and I take a blue crystal.
Okay. So I don't partake in performance-enhancing crystals, so...
That's a great
it's
way to
bad
be.
for the image.
All right. Should we be on
No.
our way?
Roger, do you know how we use the crystals if we need to use the crystals? Do we break them? Do we eat them?
Yeah.
Roger sort of turns in a circle, flashes a cat butt, and hops down.
Usually these sort of things are smashed.
Usually,
I'm just gonna
but
trust that. It sounds good to me.
sounds good. But I figure
Yeah.
Roger might know, so why? It was worth asking just to make sure.
Yo,
I don't know. Bartholomew does some very, very crazy things sometimes.
Yo, Kringle. I got a quick question.
Yes.
Okay. How much can that little guy hold?
He's a regular green mug. So as much as you could fit in a mug.
No, like wait, I want him to carry me. I think that was pretty clear.
It is unspecified by the. It is unspecified by the spell. Matty, you just tell me what happens as he tries to hop on, I guess.
The legs give a kapang kapang, and they sort of buckle at the knee and break off.
Oh, you're hurt. Oh,
no, I broke it.
I go over and cast the mending cantrip on him.
Oh no, honey cup.
You lift this poor mug. Its other little arms are just hanging limply. You know, it still says "someday" written across the front, and then you put the legs back on, and it comes back to a semblance of life.
All right. He definitely cannot hold you, Woo Woo, and don't hurt him too much.
I think we tried this before, and I just forgot.
We've tried it a few times, Woo Woo.
Yeah. All right, let's go. Let's keep going, guys. We're wasting time.
All right.
All right.
Turn to go and leave. Turn with the intent to be teleported.
Bartholomew. Oh wait, he's not around anymore.
Correct. Bartholomew has been frosted behind this mirror, so he is no longer visible or seemingly accessible.
And I guess he won't mind if we take one of his rides, right?
Yeah, he's gotta have something around here somewhere, right?
He has some teleportation.
You know where they are?
Nah, I think it's something like classic.
Maybe, yeah, they're over there, and I point. Are they over there?
You know what? I mean, Kringle, you've been in the shop before. You've seen his arcane wonders. Yeah, you can point over to a. It's in one of these books back here. So if you can get a boost up, you might be able to find a scroll that would teleport you.
All right,
Does he have a golden apparatus of kill wash?
Unfortunately, it's not visible if he does.
It's behind the case.
Oh, Matty, can I roll 1d100? And on 100, it's that. He has it.
Don't let him do it. He's gonna get it. He's gonna get it 100%.
Nah.
You're that intimidated by my luck. It's true.
I didn't
all right, Kringle, go ahead. You can go stand on my shoulders.
All right. I go up and climb and try and find it.
Okay, so between the two of you, you're the height of Equam or June, who could have just gone over and grabbed the book. But you know what? It's teamwork makes the dream work. And
Woo have been working on this stacking technique together throughout our many adventures together.
Did you bring the trench coat?
Did you bring the I forgot it.
I forgot. I didn't think. I didn't have time to go home.
Okay. Well.
It's really useful too. It's called a step ladder.
Yeah, did you bring a spare trench coat?
You can have my extra blanket if you want.
All right. Well, at least it'll be kind of warm. Take the whole thing.
Kringle, you find a book that has some scrolls in it, and it really only opens. You know, you go to open it, and it doesn't feel like there's glue holding the other pages together, but something is. Though it, you go past a large chunk, and then there's some other spells that you get to, which are, it's not for emergency use only, but it's if I asked you to do something and you need help, it's sort of a request, or that if he's put you on a quest, if he's given you the authority on his behalf to use his magic to do something, that you may. And so this would be a teleportation that would meet those requirements.
Right. Just in case, Kringle reaches into his bag and pulls out one of his magic items that he has gotten from Bartholomew's Big Bag Bonanza and places upon him Bartholomew's beard. And You see him instantly transform into a likeness of Bartholomew. That's why I rolled Bartholomew's beard, which transforms you, disguises you as Bartholomew. And Pringle says, yes, I thought perhaps being in the mindset of this individual would allow me to use this tone.
Damn, Pringle, that's a sweet Bartholomew impression.
It's entirely the beard. I can't. It just magically makes me sound like.
I know, the voice seems a little off to me.
It's not exactly it. And Kringle will go over and try and use this teleportation.
Sure.
Is everyone ready? Iquam, Jun, Woohoo, are you all ready to go?
I think so.
Well, I've seen him do this before, and he usually just sort of... And I snap my fingers.
All right. I would like you to make a... this would just be an intelligence check at advantage here to see if you can, if you have the channel of the form of Bartholomew, but can you wield... Oh, look at that green number. Yeah, nice 25. Excellent. All right, so as if Bartholomew himself... In fact, even Roger kind of does a double take and goes... as you take on Bartholomew's form. And even his growl is kind of nasal, like rah. And you do the motion, and magic starts to envelop you all. As it does, your bodies are getting really cold, and you're getting that numbing, freezing tingle feeling as the magic is swirling up to not decompose, but but sort of like to pull you apart atomically. Dematerialize. Yes, thank you. To then rematerialize you where you are going to be sent, which is Buckler's Bay. And so, for those of you who are not familiar with the lands of DnD Time, we are going on a little bit of an adventure here as we go from Bartholomew's shop. Dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun,
what a nice touch.
There we go. And so you are teleported far to the north. I'd wager that's about 30 feet to the north. And hey, I'm pretty close, yeah.
Wow. Pretty good. This is where we find out that was a Thanos snap scroll and that's
Yeah, it was. You just got the dematerialization, not the rematerialization.
Every other Myth-tier adventurer just hit the worst half of it.
Yikes.
But it's okay. You four survived because you're everyone's favorite characters, and the franchise is carried on you. So
we can afford to pay the other adventurers anymore. They can only get us because we have cheaper contracts.
And so. You materialize.
Wow.
Whoops.
This is way nicer than I remember it.
You materialize in a public square surrounded by a bunch of frost and snow covered. It's not unseasonable given the northern climate and its proximity to the Big Rock Candy Mountains, but this is really, the bay, Buckler's Bay is frozen. There are ships that are just frozen in place. There are barrels that are burning in the street, presumably for warmth, not like, post-apocalyptic. This is, survival or marking territory. So in a way, it's almost festive. There's a lot of solstice decorations out. Not too many people, and the people you see are bundled up quite heavily. And you get a couple looks from some passersby. But they just sort of and continue on in a bit of a gruff manner.
That seems rather... sorry, I'm still wearing this. that seems pretty rude.
Yeah, well, I'll go teach him a lesson. Just give me a minute.
No, don't cause... No.
Okay.
Yeah, what do you want, Pipsqueak?
There's a lot of... snow drizzle might.
I got a lot of balls. I'm a mythic adventurer, man. I could turn you into oatmeal, probably. that eat you.
I'm behind him, like shaking my head, like, and mouthing like he doesn't mean that.
I certainly do, and that's a good guess considering how cold it is. I don't think many of us are actually wearing them pretty low right now.
I forget what we were arguing about already. All right, I'm tapping you in, Kringle. You're gonna have to fight him.
A fight?
Look over.
A fight? I could use some warmth in my blood.
All right, Kringle, it's all on you.
Our dock is our ship has been frozen at the dock for a couple days, and I'm fixing for some activity.
I go over and kind of like step behind June.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say if you've got friends, because we got 2v2.
Yeah, fight. I just step up to him and punch him in the face.
Sure. Roll your attack. Are you gonna give him the old wombo combo? Are you spending any key point on anything, or?
Key. Oh no.
Just a double attack.
Just a
Standard multi martial arts. So that's 3.
Okay. So the second, the first one, he actually kind of, as he's, what are you gonna? He slips just as your fist would have connected, but he slipped back a little bit, but he steadied himself as your other fist was going forward. So we had a impact. Or wait, hang on. What, am I reading? Were you rolling with advantage on the one, or are you rolling separately?
No, it's separately. So
I
okay. Imagine like I just bring out one fist.
You'll still hit him though.
With the same arm.
Okay. Sure. Go ahead and. You are flurrying of blows?
2 strikes. No, that's just martial arts. So.
Oh, okay.
Extra attack, and then. You get
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna murder this man! Oh no! Oh no! Oh, I didn't want to see this, kinda, but I kinda did.
Non-lethal.
All right. So 17. Are you going for a lethal strike, or are you going for a knockout blow?
Knockout.
Okay. Sure enough, you give him the old 1-2 kazoo there, and he goes sprawling, and there's you bloody his nose, and in the snow here just gets a crimson arc as he does a spiral, and boo, and his body even kind of like boo goes in a circle a little bit, and the sailor friend that was walking along looks down at him, looks over at you all, and just runs off screaming something about being under attack.
Hey buddy, are you okay?
Oh dear, June. June, did you have to go that far overboard?
I would never done something like that.
He was just a regular person.
Hey,
Well, let's get going.
Wait, Equal, I need your help.
Yes.
Hey, you alright?
Okay,
I
alright, can you help me out? Okay, so my backpack here, if you reach down to the bottom, past Clyde, don't touch him or I'll cut you. I got my little floaties, my little inflaties, swimming duckies. Can you get that out? It's kind of this water here and I don't want to drown. I can't swim very good.
I'm not sure. Sure, I'll get them, but
yeah, well,
I think we'll need them. I think
it goes
it's all
around my waist.
frozen.
It's got the little duck part.
I'll bend down and see if he's okay.
Sure.
Check his missing teeth.
Make a medicine roll.
Alright.
Here you go, Woo.
Oh, thanks, I appreciate it. Can you put it on and then inflate it for me?
And Quan just kind of puffs into this floaty and gets enough definition into the floaty to so that it won't just fall off immediately, and then kind of slips it on. Do you think you can climb back on Kringle for a moment? It'll make it a little easier for me to get it the rest of the way inflated.
I'm not very strong. Okay.
Don't worry, I can hold him with one hand, but he's just a little short. As are you. But together, you're not quite so short.
You're Jews, that guy dead.
So,
what's the situation?
June, you kneel down over him, and you see something interesting. You have knocked him out, and of course you've heard of giving someone a shiner, a black eye, and I mean you certainly you popped him pretty well, though when you're checking him, his eyes have kind of a shiny black rim around them, and as you're making this check, I'd like you to make a religion check, and you can do this at advantage.
Boom.
Oh, he's cursed.
It's it's something you're having a hard time placing it right now. There's something that seems kind of familiar about this, but it's not coming to mind. And in all honesty, it's probably best if you don't linger out here too long, as it is cold. There's a wind blowing off the sea. I mean, such as you can even see that there's no waves because it's all frozen over. But this place is just it's cold. And as you're doing this as well, I'm gonna go over to Equam, as you're inflating Woo Woo's inflatable duck swimmies. I remember the time that he pulled those from the bag. That was really it came in handy. So there's a mother and two children who are walking past, and they are carrying some gifts because it is solstice time. Looks like they've been pre-wrapped, and she's like, come on now. She sounds really irritated. And the kids are they look at you as you're doing this, and one of them just out of nowhere, just this kid goes, "Man, that cat really sucks." "Nuh-uh," says the other. "No, that cat really blows." and these kids are just being like vicious to you, just passing by.
Wait, those two. Oh no.
Oh,
Wow, that was super. Are you okay? Are you okay, Quan?
I'm fine. They may not be soon if they keep that up.
Kids can be really harsh sometimes.
I should teach him a lesson. I think I should.
Guys,
I suppose they
think
should. They may need to learn that a cat perhaps has claws.
June, you're absolutely right. There's something weird going on here. You should go punch those kids.
Hold on, wait. So I think this guy's gonna be fine. I just stand up, brush myself off.
Yeah, he does seem stable. Like he's fine medically. You just noticed an extra special effect.
He's just got a shiner, and I'll throw some money at him, 50 gold, just make it rain all over him out of my pockets. That's fine, whatever.
That's the most valuable black eye that guy probably ever got.
Yeah.
Right.
For all of you out there watching, money is not a thing when you're a Bartholomew's adventurer.
That's true.
And I'll turn over kids, don't worry about them. They're all good folks. What's wrong?
They seem to have a distinct lack of manners these days. It's really quite a shame.
Yeah, I bet our dad could beat you up. I even heard him say one time to his friends that he's looking for a new piece of tail, and I bet he'd take yours. And the mom just sort of looks down at the other one. Your father said, and what are you doing in this moment?
Oh.
Bring me to your dad. I'll fuck him.
It seems like everything's gonna work itself out. Justice kind of comes around in a lot of different ways.
The mother's quite upset. Look, I'm sorry, cat person. We're out solstice shopping, and come on, kids. We have to talk to your father apparently. And she's starting to tug at them. Are any of you wanting to do or say anything before she goes off into the alleyway back here, or the road?
I actually will call out after you, Equal.
I make sure to catch the eye of one of the kids stare the kid down and just kind of pick at a claw or two as I just stare directly at the kid.
Sure. In fact, while you do this, you can make 2 rolls for me. One is perception and one is intimidation.
Turns out we're all mad with power.
All right. So you make eye contact, though perhaps your intentions are distracted as you notice something interesting about the kid that you're staring down. So you kind of forget to put on your, like, you know, where you like lift one of your like kind of curvy cat lips off to the side and give him a little sneer. But you catch that this kid who's looking back at you has sort of like a shimmery black ring around his iris.
Ooh.
And then the mother just sort of, come on, and the other kid is like, ha ha ha, oh, just you wait till you get home, and they all 3 of them are just arguing as a family unit, going back this way. I mean, they're out buying solstice presents, but this is not a very friendly family unit here, apparently.
God, you hate to see that. You hate to see that.
Sad, really. But as they're walking away, I would like to just holler out to the mother and just say, "Is it always this cold here this time of year?"
No! You best leave then. Go find your mom. She apparently took you for a kid.
That's okay.
Alright.
Yeah, was that really the appropriate time to ask that, Kringle?
Well, maybe not.
It seems like a little...
I should go apologize, and Kringle starts to walk over that way.
Oh, dear.
I put a hand on your shoulder, Kringle. No, it's alright. Our manager, my manager is frozen. Glass for wrong. So, we gotta figure out how to do things ourselves.
Okay.
We just arrived in town. Why don't we go out and let's eat?
You're probably right.
Get used to the place first, huh?
I have an errand I would like to run if you guys want to ask around town about what's going on.
No.
Let me bring you to my Uncle Tony's place.
You a family here?
Yeah, I got family everywhere.
That sounds good to me.
Alright,
Sure.
bring him to Uncle Tony's.
As we go over there, just like kind of stride up to June and tap him on the shoulder. And did you notice anything odd about the man you knocked out? The kids had some odd sheen to their eye.
Oh, you saw that too? I thought something was wrong with their eye. I thought it was just the eye. Nothing you. I want you to take a closer.
No, it wasn't necessarily outside the eye. It was like on the eyeball itself. It was like this strange black, shiny, glowy bit. And
I don't know.
I don't really know what could cause it, but if it's not really that it's cold normally, and people are going around with weird black shiny bits in their eyes, something seems very off.
Probably super contagious. You should be really careful. Jun, you should go wash your hands.
What would you know of washing hands?
All I know is everyone else does it like all the time. Like 100% of the time, they're always going to washing their hands. I just gotta wait for them.
Kringle is going to reach into one of his many pockets and pulls out a little birdhouse and then summons on it as he uses his action to conjure his familiar.
Okay.
And his familiar is just it's like a small sparrow that kind of climbs out of the birdhouse, but it seems to be made entirely of like animated wood and the head kind of like twists back and forth on a gear-like mechanism swivel, and the wings very like clunkily like move up and down and start to flutter. And he just kind of has it fly over and go onto June's shoulder. And Kringle goes, like I said, I have to run a quick errand to get ready, but if you want to start asking about, I can shop and find you.
Well, why don't we go together? After, let's go satisfy our desires.
If you don't mind. And Kringle wants...
I'll follow you.
Kringle wants to run over really quick to the harbor master, if that's cool.
Oh, sure, yeah. So
I imagine there's not a lot of big lines or busy activity there this time of year.
Well, there are still some sailors aboard. There's more than the one ship that this illustration shows. And they are staying aboard, maybe in case the ice breaks, or to guard cargo, or they're just waiting for something to do. But there's not a lot of people out on the streets. Those that you do see are certainly dressed for the cold. And there's just just a vibe. You don't even need to roll an insight. The whole place has been decorated for solstice. People have all kinds of festive things out. As you know, many of the gods that are worshipped in the lands of D&D time have an event. So you see different representations here among the houses. But it just is cold. You know, the people are wearing, people are wearing a nice, a festive hat. But, one of them almost, bumps into you even. Hey, I wasn't looking. And, it's kind of an apology. He at least recognized that he wasn't looking, but he also didn't say anything. And that could be just that one person, but the kids were sour. The salty sailor, that happens in a port town. But this is just, you've now had, you're a scientific gnome. This is now 3 independent instances throughout town where people are just, not even like, hey, it sure is cold out there. Yeah, it's cold and they're there for it, but they're not even like kidding around about it. This is just bitterness.
Bitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bitter cold.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a nice town.
Something is certainly influencing these people in a strange way.
But you want to go to the shipmaster. Where do the others want to go for interactions?
Maybe it's the festive spirit.
I know where I'm gonna go. So you go first.
Iquam wants to perhaps find either a tavern or at least some place where he can get in and have his feet not be quite so cold.
Sure.
Shoes are not always something that work very well for him.
Okay. So here on the corner is a nice big public house. It's by the docks. It's by the bridge. There's a lot of traffic. And so, Iquam, you are here in a nearby bustling pub. There is a fire. There are people eating and drinking and talking. But we'll get to the details in a little bit. Let me disperse everyone else. What about June? And then what about Woo Woo?
I'm calling my man Kringle to the floor.
Oh my god.
Oh, I couldn't hear anything.
I wonder if June joined
Kringle
the
to the
pub.
floor.
Oh, coming with me to the...
Kringle to the port, I think he said.
Oh, got it. All right.
Oh, that's
Sounded
crazy, because I'm gonna follow Equam to the tavern.
Oh. All right.
It sounded like June was coming to the tavern with everything that was going on.
So we're splitting the party, but we're not splitting the party.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Funny how that works.
Yeah. Teamwork. All right. Then let's start with the dockmaster.
and I send my bird over with the Equam just to make sure that...
Oh. Yes.
Yeah, so I know where they are.
We already have a tiny servant.
Ye.
All right. Or wait, was that the right one?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
I just only had the owl that I could find for
Okay.
stat blocks.
Yep, that's fine. All right, so it flaps off, and those three find themselves. Is a lore question: is there an established large, popular drinking area in Buckler Bay?
There's a whole bunch of them, so whatever the heck you want.
Sure.
It's like mostly tavern, I think.
I think you're right about that. There's one that I've come back to a couple times, but it's escaping me in this exact instance. So
all right.
I think
if it comes to, then we'll name drop. Otherwise, you're going to a popular established place. But we're going to start at the docks here with.
all right.
We're going to start at the docks here with our gnome and our half orc here. There are some. You're hearing some songs being sung on the ship. No, there's no one really out on the deck. Though there is some people moving some cargo, and one of them appears to be a boss character who's supervising and has a list and seems to be checking stuff off, and is shouting down to him.
I kind of call up to him and say, excuse me.
Puts looks around as seems to be looking a little too high.
Down here, sir.
Oh! Well, I didn't see you. I saw you, and he points to June, who's there backing you up. But you're the one who's addressing him, so. Yes. What can I do for you?
Does he have the darkness about his eyes?
Make a perception. As you're looking up at him, and there is some glint and stuff around. Some winds might blow in your eye. Nice, with a 20. You see that there is, at the base of the eyes, there's a little bit of a black glimmer around the iris. But for the most part, his eyes are normal.
Relatively clear. Okay. I'm going to speak up to him. I was wondering if it would be all right if I used your dock for a time, sir. Not this one, the one that doesn't have any ships on it over there.
Well, yeah, I don't suppose they're going to be making their way into port anytime soon, given the ice, and kind of makes a broad sweep out there. What do you need to use my dock for? I would still have to ask for a docking fee.
I could work it off. I'd be happy to load all that cargo for you.
Oh, well...
I imagine there's like a ton of stuff that they're putting onto the ship, right?
Well, it's actually stuff that's coming off of the ship that's being sorted. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's some longshoremen that are moving that right now. Are you just looking for work? Wait, are you lost? Do you need some warmth?
No, I just needed to use the dock for a bit, and I don't have a ton of coin on me to pay, but...
Do you just need to walk down it?
I just need to... It'll be occupied while I'm here. I need a space to do some magic.
Wait, magic? What kind of magic?
And Kringle kind of thinks for a little time, not really wanting, obviously being a little bit dodgy about it, and goes, and then just kind of loses himself in technobabble. It's a simple conjuration, 4-circle magic. It's something that's very basic. It's referred to in some of the upper circles as Fabricaceus Margicarnis, and it's going to allow me to simply transpose some of the grains and the fibers in the various, and I continue on this way for.
He looks like he's trying to make notes. Is that the name of the ship? The Fabricaceus?
No, it's just the spell.
Oh, well, I'm too old for this. Tell you what, boys, take a break. And the ones who are hauling the cargo are like, yeah, right. We're gonna take a break after this, no matter what. Yeah, you're lucky if we come back after this. Don't be like that. He rolls his eyes, and the others put the crates apparently with the others where they're supposed to go here in a pile, and they start stomping off towards other parts unknown, leaving you with the dock master, or the person in charge here. Can you... Tell you what, I need to come in out of the cold. I don't know how long you've been here. Will you come with me to my office, and let's just sit and talk about this?
Okay. And I'll go with him, I guess. June, is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, hey, there you are.
just go back to the tavern.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then I'll go with him. June's down.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't realize you're having issues.
So you two traverse not too far into the office here. He sits down, takes his coat off, and just he's a big guy. Probably been working the docks his whole life. He's got a belly, but he's got arms, like very barrel chested. He has a beard going. It's certainly frosted. Not just with like a gray color from his age and experience, but from the actual cold. Do you drink anything warm? I'll fix you something. I need a coffee.
A cider, if you have it.
Yeah. We have. We should still have some cider. In fact, might be able to buy some. The ship that just came in not too long ago, but was frozen into the bay here, was carrying some. Produce from further south, but I don't know if we're going to be getting much more of that. I hear this cold has even reached that far.
I drink tea.
He'll fix a tea for you as well.
You said you haven't been here long. It seems sad. Everyone's just upset. It's so cold. It's not usually like this.
Yeah, I can't place it. I've lived here a long time. I've worked here. I've celebrated many solstices here. I've raised a family here as well. And something is off. Something's just... It's not just the cold weather. Everyone just seems to have a cold heart.
Did you remember seeing... Has there been anything strange lately that you have encountered? People walking around that didn't seem like they belonged?
Well, we had some
sounds.
Vagrants come in, especially if they're seeking shelter. Buckler's Bay, opportunistic at least, and generous you'd hope. While he's doing this, he takes a sip, but he seems restless, keeping his limbs moving. He's going in. His office is very decorated for solstice. And not just with, like, cursory decorations. He has some religious paraphernalia up as well. And he seems to kind of be adjusting it, making a couple reverent motions, and just going around making sure everything is there. And he's humming a solstice tune under his breath as well.
Hey, sweet place you got here. Stick it up.
Say it again, I didn't catch that.
The sweet place you got here. Stick that up.
Well, yes. Sometimes when the work just is crushing you almost literally, you need a place where you can just feel at ease, to relax, to find yourself, instead of getting caught up in the rush.
I certainly understand that.
Yeah, I feel you.
For me, it's at work. That was why I wanted to use the dock here. I kind of look at him. It helps me relax when I'm working, and I need a good space to do that.
Did you come here just for the dock then, or are you looking for someone or a ship or some cargo?
Well, of course, we were also we came here for our a friend. We've heard of them. I don't know if we've ever adventured with them, but I am is their big title, but you might know them as Zewxips.
Let me see. Hold on. He plops down in it's a very worn chair, but it seems also very comfortable. Like it has just, over time, his bulk just broke it in for him with the way that it bends and creaks, and it just conforms to him here. He starts going through some files. Zewxip. Well, there was a ship that was supposed to be coming in, though it doesn't seem to be here. Could have gotten frozen out, or I certainly hope it didn't encounter that. Beyond the ice sheet you see in the bay, there's a lot of icebergs, and, well, it has a lot of... He's looking around, he's trying to be tactful. There's a lot of different talks of things, well, as you may know, that many of us here believe in the magic conch, or the conch you may call it as well. A lot of very faithful sailors, and this seems to be drawing on some sort of ire. They're having their hackles raised. The snow might be brought in by the giant cloud. It's kind of stirring up an animosity, but it could be a reason. You also have other sailors that are very superstitious, thinking that, this is how the Titanic went down 100 years ago, and that somehow this is connected with the people of the sea. And while they're of the sea, sailors live on it. The people of the sea live in it, and it's a lot easier to live in it than on it. If you get what I'm saying, that there's perhaps some goings on to repeat what happened 100 years ago. There's all kinds of rumors. I've even heard that as far as the frontier, people are even, where it's deserted, it's hot. There's even just relentless snows in the frontier areas.
Even in the frontier.
It's strange. But perhaps, I hope the best for your friend. Your friend was supposed to be here, though your friend is not.
With the sea frozen over, I guess we could go out. We could walk to their ship, perhaps, if you knew what direction they were sailing from. Do you have the charts?
Well, it's only the bay that seems to be frozen. However, if you go... there have been reports that there have been ships, perhaps, that have been compromised by an ice floe or hit an iceberg or something. There have been ship wreckage that has been thrown onto the beaches to the north and the south. Although, I would warn you, that could bring opportunistic treasure seekers as well, who are looking to claim whatever washes up from the ships that have become derelict in the churning seas beyond the bay. I'd tell you, if a ship was frozen in the bay, I'd have known about it, but the one you're looking for isn't there. You might be better to go off and search the red bead beaches.
For the wreckages. All right. Thank you.
Well, would that I could do more for you, except perhaps top off your beverage. And for for the two of you, before you go, I need you to do one thing for me.
I raise my eyebrows.
Would you have a good solstice? Someone has to.
You know something, sir? I will try my best.
Yeah. No, ocean people, those are some of my people, man. I got some good ocean friends. There was this one time where I went out with my buddy Johnson. We were at the local swimming pool, by Bronx, up in the northern part of the swimming's fine, and over there, kids swim like so fast to beat like 2 bets and everybody else on the team.
Well, maybe you.
Oh, there's also that once yeah. June will just continue telling stories before.
That's fine. The dockmaster listens to your tale, smiles with the warm beverage in his hands. If you need to warm up, you're welcome back here. I'd like to think that you could find welcome in a lot of homes, and prior solstices you could. This one, well, just be careful out there. And we are going to... what we're going to do is, I'll tell you what, why don't we get up and take like a 10-minute break, use the restroom, get something to drink, cool off, if you're wearing a heavy robe that's very comfortable but warm. And when we come back, let's go over to the Swaggering Cyclops, which is the inn that our three are at, and we'll pick up here. Share information, and you all can choose a course of action based on what you've learned.
Awesome.
Alrighty.